Yo, what is up, guys? Talking about SF10. So SF10 is a pretty annoying dungeon. Before you used to run it with something like Lucian. Well, not even mostly Lucian because a lot of people used Fran. Lauren was pretty common, and then you have like a buff blocker. It was something like this, or you add in the Dark Vampire Lord or something like that. It was something like this with the old team, and it could fail. Like people that said like, no, my team actually always work. No, if your Ling Ling goes super derpy for like 3 times in a row, no matter what you do, if you don't land the buff block, you're gonna fail. Simple as that. So currently you have seen the team with Tatu, Melia, Lucian, which I use for GB12. Video of that in the description. You can use similar team for this and it will work. The only thing different you want to use so that team does look something like Seth. This. This team will work. 100%. Wow, 100%. Close to 100%. Thing is, you want to run them on Violent again, maybe one Melee on Swift, and you probably want Tattoo on Double Wheel. So that's probably the team I recommend people to use. I'm not gonna showcase it because it's pretty much the same as my GB12 video. It's exactly the same runes. The only difference you want to do is make Double Wheel on the Tattoo. Difference is, however, I'm not satisfied. I want to push this to the next limit because this team is probably still like I didn't test it that in depth, but it's probably still somewhere around like 50 to 55 second average. It's not that crazy fast because it's pretty much the same speed as you have on the Giants, but it's slower because you're fighting the shield and that kind of stuff. So with just 5 dots, you're not killing this boss because you also have to get rid of the shield. So, few things I had in mind. What if Lucian is always in amputation magic range by Seth doing enough damage? So if Seth moves first, well, I know you wanted the other lead. If Seth moves first, then Lucian moves. Would you do enough damage that Lucian will always amputation magic? Amputation magic range is about killing every or one unit at least out of the bunch to 20 to 25% range. I can tell you this was not possible. Seth did not do enough damage. I even Devilmon Seth, like this video, subscribe to the channel because I wasted 3 Devilmons on Seth. Please. So, and I can't really use my Devilmons. My Barbara is not Devilmon yet. Okay, sidetrack. So I gave the most amount of damage on Seth. Sure, you don't need this Seth in the team that I just told before. In the team I just told before, you need runes that just make sense to dot. They don't need any damage. Lucian is clearing the waves, that kind of stuff. So you don't need any damage on Seth. But in this scenario, you need damage on Seth. As much damage as possible. I had this much damage. I had 12 sets of fight. So every one of them was triple fight, and triple fight. Even my Lucian that I used at that time to try it had triple fight with attack, crit damage, attack, which could one-shot the wave even with those kind of runes. So there was 12 fight runes, attack lead. Seth did not do enough damage. And then at some point, I did this on stream, so then at some point we were like, okay, but what if we just Julie? But then we go Julie, heavy Julie. So we go as much attack as we can possibly find. And we go for artifacts, 12% from attack and 14% from attack. 26% from attack. Even though through glancing, like you could say like, oh, go crit rate, crit damage. Your glancing, then crit rate, crit damage are pretty much like nullified. So we're going pure attack, and then glancing doesn't matter too much. Let's see how a run like this looks like. So I'm gonna let it run on auto. We do this. Perfect AI. Perfect AI. The only issue is, which we walked into, is resistance. And like, oh, add Eki runes. These units all have like Eki slot 6s. You just get the resistance from time to time. So, and then she's not max HP, so she doesn't third skill this wave. So, if you don't have any resist checks, this would work. But then you come to this stage, and even with 5 dots, so we're gonna get 5 dots here. We do this. The boss is not dead yet. So there's 2 issues with this team, and this team will probably still succeed even now. Maybe not. It happens from time to time. probably still succeed. Yeah, that's the thing. With dots, you probably still kill at the end. So that's the cool thing about this team. Also, because I use that many fight sets, you don't have that much tanky stats, because at some point I just run out of fight sets that make sense. So let's run it again. Let's see if we have a little bit better luck on the middle stage this time. This always amputation magic. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. Okay, let's see how much we actually do. We got it should be enough. Yes. Okay, so then we go into perfect AI again. Easy. But then the final boss stage again. Issues. No dots. Yes dots. We're gonna have 3 dots. 3 dots is half HP. And then it starts getting wonky. Like, sure, you still clear it. Sure, you still clear it. But it is wonky. It is definitely wonky. Like, moment boss takes a turn. It's pretty much nearly dead. So the difference with this one and Giants is that he mostly gets turns, but just by being pushed up and that kind of stuff by the towers. It is reasonably fast. I could make this a lot more consistent by just adding like fight runes that actually make sense instead of like having fight runes that are not plussed. But it's still, it's not really there, right? So the moment you miss dots, and the thing is, you have 5 checks of 15%. It's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. It's simply gonna happen that you don't kill the middle boss, and then your run gets really wonky and that kind of stuff. So getting into perfect AI range with Lucian doesn't work. I also tried this with Clara, actually. I'm not sure if the Clara is still ruined up. Could be. Let me check. No, it's nearly still ruined up. But Clara, same thing as Julie. Only difference is it's a little bit better because you do flame shot on the middle boss sometimes, and therefore you have an armor break on the middle boss, which just does a lot more damage. So that is an option. But also that didn't really do the trick. So what did actually do the trick, which I think is currently the most consistent run of SF10 possible, which is this. And this run works on that Seth preferably does S2. He doesn't. But preferably does S2. We clear the waves by that. And afterwards, Raoak is pretty easy to clean up the waves. Also, look at the amount of dots. Raoak provides so much more dots because of team-ups. And I know that Seth passive doesn't work on team-up, because it actually states that it only works on his turn. But even when you miss a dot there, you still get so many dots from all of this, then you incinerate and the boss is still dead. So this is, I think, the best SF10 team you can get, because it average about, like, sure, it can go a little bit derpy, but still this one average about like 34-35 seconds. And I don't think it's getting any better than this. So what would you need to make this better? So we got a derpy one on that one, which kind of sucks. And then sometimes she uses Incinerate, which is kind of bad. But even then, with this team up that just happened, she got Incinerate back again. So therefore, Raoak is just really good. But you need an insane damage set on Seth and an insane damage set on Raoak. And you have to use different runes because you need a lot of fight runes compared to the other team. So you cannot use the same runes on this team as the Giants team, because in Giants you're not gonna use that many fight runes. So is this something most people are gonna run? No. Am I trying to push limits and try to see if things could work? Yes. So that's why I'm making this video. Maybe also to inspire some of you people to start testing out some stuff on your own. Some things that I did test, for example, different buffers. Like, so I did this on stream, so I had like a whole bunch of suggestions of what other, like, maybe a buff blocker can you use in there, or maybe like different daughters can you use in there, or like any kind of stuff. So if this happens, the run gets like pretty wonky and a little bit longer. So can we actually team up? We did team up with the correct one. We got 1 dots, we got 5. Boss is not dead instantly. So then you got a little bit longer run, so you need some artifacts like reduced damage from wind to just make this like a little bit more consistent, because again, my fight runes are not that heavy on the tanky side, but still it's pretty doable. What other units did I use or did I thought of that did not work? So let's look at a few units. So this run, it's averaging, I would say, like 35-36. Other units possible for this dungeon. So Most of the time, well, you want anything that dots, first of all. So anything that dots, that's a whole bunch. Um, Rika, for example, is not good. You want anything perfect AI. Like, sure, Rika on perfect AI would work, but Rika does not have perfect AI. If she would always do her third skill, yes, it would work, but no, it doesn't work. Um, Another unit like Fire Homunculus, for example. Fire Homunculus is a lot of dots, but it's the same thing as, for example, a Zeratul. Like, people are like, oh, make a Zeratul. Zeratul is actually not that good because, yes, he hit 3 times, but it's a 3-time 1-turn dot. You're looking for multiple turn dots because Tatu explodes the multiple turn dots, and therefore you don't want to go for like a single turn dot. Which same is like, for example, Orochi. Orochi is really cool. Like, hey, 6 dots, but it's 6 times 1 turn. You have a lot of units that give like 2 turn, that kind of stuff, and again, his AI is not perfect. So you need something that has perfect AI, and that's the main issue. So units or that have dots on all of their skills. One of the few of those that actually does it is not this one, but the other one, this one, Fyro. But Fyro can, this skill is really good. This one is like 6 dots in total. This one is just 2, and this one is also, this one is just 1. So again, like if he derps, it's not what you're looking for. So you need something that always dots, and one of the few things that actually always dots is Melia. So you kind of are bound to use Melia. Like if, for example, these, especially the light one, whoops. Because you could also look, for example, so let's say we do remove beneficial block. This is one of the few units that actually dots and removes beneficial block. But if this skill would have actually dotted, I would have opted to use it, but again, no perfect AI. And the thing is, the moment you don't have perfect AI, the whole run gets like a little bit wonky. And that's where the Rogue actually works pretty well. So sure, you're gonna fill the comments with a whole bunch of other ideas. I always like to read them. I will read them. Probably I tested most of them. Maybe I forgot some units here and there that I tested. So this is currently the fastest SF10 consistent team. It's like, yeah, but you can just use Lucian first, clear the wave, blah, blah. Yes, you can, but it's not consistent because Lucian doesn't have perfect AI. So, yeah, bunch of those units, they're just, I'm looking for perfect AI. I want the run to be exactly the same every time it runs. And the team with a Lucian moving first is never always the same. So this is also not always the same, but it's like pretty similar in every scenario that the run kind of ends like this. So yes, what do I recommend people to use? I recommend people to use the exact same team they're using in Giants B12. Check out the other video if you want to see the runes and that kind of stuff on it. But the only difference what you could make is Tatu double will. So for the Giants team, I recommend Tatu on Vio. For this double will, you could actually use it in GB12 also on double will. It's just a little bit worse. But in that case, you can use the exact same unit, exact same team, because I noticed that a lot of people, I have free rune removal always because I have too much mana. Simple as that. A lot of people do not have that, so they prefer to have their exact same rune, or like they have a smaller unit pool for multiple dungeons. This actually works with exact same runes for multiple dungeons, so I do recommend that. But if you want if you're one of those people that want to push it to the limit, have the fastest times all the time, and if you're farming smart, which I really recommend, is you're farming one specific dungeon from free rune removal to free rune removal, and then you actually have the potential to say like, okay, this month I'm just farming SF the whole month. Maybe it's a bit much for SF, but I think SF is really underrated. Check out my video of top 10 ways to increase your dungeon times. SF is number 1. Small spoiler. SF is really underrated, and it's actually one of the most annoying dungeons to farm. Therefore, I was really trying to find anything that pushes the limit that much. Sure, this is sick rune requirements. I know that. But still, I think it's a really recommended dungeon to start running for the people that haven't yet, because artifacts are just so good. I still have to make more videos about artifacts because I notice a lot of people are not really understanding the correct, like, what artifacts to use, where to use them for, because it's so many variables. It's legit so many variables of like, oh, what's a good artifact, where can you use it, what should I keep, what should I sell, that kind of stuff. It's really a difficult topic, so I want to get more videos out about that. This one, kind of repeating myself right now, this is the team I recommend if you want the fastest time. And that's it for today. So let me know in the comments what you think about it. And please like this video, because I wasted 3 Devilmons on this team. And I was not planning to Devilmon set at all. But I was lacking damage, so I kind of had to. So guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.